Has he finished?
Sir Christopher Chope.
Mr Deputy Speaker, it's a pleasure to follow my honourable friend, and he, as always, is on the side of the optimists rather than the defeatists. And in listening to the honourable gentleman member for Aberavon, whom I've had the pleasure of serving with on the Brexit committee, I fear that he is a pessimist in this, and he thinks that we need to have compromise, but he doesn't talk about the need for the European Union to compromise. He only talks about the need for the United Kingdom to compromise in the face of what was a clear commitment by the British people to leave the European Union. Can I speak briefly to the amendments which are in my name and in my name of my right honourable and honourable friends? 3 years ago, the people of the United Kingdom instructed us, in the largest democratic mandate in our history, to obtain a divorce from the European Union. In March 2017, Parliament accepted this instruction by giving notice under Article 50 of the EU Treaty. And Article 50 makes provision for an amicable divorce or a divorce without agreement. In a traditional divorce to dissolve a marriage, both parties accept the irretrievable breakdown and try to agree sensible future arrangements. But the EU has never accepted a Brexit. The EU and its institutions do not want a divorce. And if there was any doubt about that, it was being made clear to those of us on the Brexit Committee, and whenever we've been to visit the European institutions and their leaders, that the EU is just hoping and praying that Brexit will go away and that we will remain in the European Union. They don't want a divorce, so their motivation is to contest that divorce by putting forward unreasonable and unacceptable terms which offer us only a punishment deal. And that was something which our right honourable friend, the former Prime Minister, anticipated in her Lancaster House speech. She said she feared that that might be the approach of the European Union. They would be intent on offering us a punishment deal. That's exactly what they have done. And the only alternative under Article 50 to a punishment deal is no deal. And unless amended, this bill will remove even that option, which enables us to put pressure on the European Union to come to the negotiating table and talk about a better deal than the one that we've got at the moment. As our right honourable friend, the Leader of the House, said yesterday, this is a dreadful deal. And which is one which has already been rejected by the House on several occasions. But are we really going to be left by this bill with the options of either no Brexit or Brexit in name only? And that's essentially what we're talking about tonight. The United Kingdom's freedom to divorce under Article 50 is constrained by this bill. It's made subject to an EU veto, enabling the EU to block Brexit effectively, indefinitely, unless or until the EU reneges on the decision of the referendum. It removes any incentive for the EU to negotiate, and that's why the Prime Minister is right. If this bill passes tonight, then we've taken away from the Prime Minister any opportunity to negotiate. All he could do is to supplicate, be a suppliant at the table of the European Union court. And effectively, this will be an example of modern international slavery, where we are imprisoned by the European Union with no reasonable way out. And sadly, Madam Deputy Speaker, the EU's collaborators in this House have become more strident and less cautious as time has elapsed. My rather honourable friend, the member for West Dorset, has said both in public and in this House and in private that his objection to no deal is only because of the lack of preparation. But he has now dropped that pretence, telling us yesterday that this bill will show whether or not the House of Commons accept a policy of a no deal exit. So effectively he's saying if this bill carries on into law, then we will be telling the European Union not to worry, under no circumstances will we be leaving without a deal. In other words, we will be throwing in the towel to the European Union. Nothing in this bill is related to or related to the no-deal preparations, or recognises that since the change of government, expenditure on no-deal has increased dramatically, and that we are now in a position where we will be prepared for no-deal, which we should have been better prepared for in the first place. If the Ramonas had the guts, they would have brought forward a bill to revoke Article 50. That's essentially what they want in their hearts, and that's what the European Union wants as well. But they know that, if presented to this House, will be resoundingly defeated. What we have instead is the revocation of Article 50 in all but name, a device to deceive the public. And this is a squalid little bill. It's an affront to Parliament and to democracy and to the people, because it enslaves the United Kingdom to the European Union. It relegates us to the status of a colony. It treats the United Kingdom as if we have been vanquished in war by giving the EU the power to dictate the terms of our surrender. And I despair at the defeatism of so many of my colleagues, and I hope that we will fight back and win in a general election for which I cannot wait.